the office part of the office.
He just randomly started.
Spend most of our actual day. Welcome. It's been a while. I'm your host, Jared. On the show this week.
Nearly forgot it.
Guys, he always forgets things.
For our Ship Showdown Q&A, our two big vehicle directors here in the UK office, Mr. John, I almost said John Curtis. Wow. I just caught myself from saying John Curtis. Mr. John Crew and Ben Curtis. John, Ben, say hi.
Hello.
Hello.
So we've got to get used to the camera swapping.
Yeah, Zoom does the camera swapping. John, say something more.
Hello. My name's John.
Right, that's
Please
John.
Zoom.
That's John.
John has also just moved offices. That's why his background is a little bit plainer.
Yeah, you just moved offices. I'm still in the office I've been in all year, but it's we're not used to being in here. So yeah, hi everybody. If you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take about an hour out of the end of an occasional week and answer questions from you, the Star Citizen community. At the end of last week, we put up a thread up on Spectrum and asked you to submit your vehicle-related questions. We're doing this show because we're in the middle of Ship Showdown, which is our big annual knock 'em, sock 'em, drag 'em event where the raft loses in the first round.
What the hell, by the way?
Too soon.
Is
the Asgard that good?
The people who made the bracket, because that was so unfair. And so we're just going to jump into it. We went to the thread. We grabbed a bunch of your questions. I do want to say
it's good, but it can't be that good.
Pretty good questions this week. I've been doing this for on and off for 11 years, and a lot of the times we have to skip through a whole bunch of the questions because the questions aren't really on the topic, or they're for a completely different team than the team we're doing.
I thought they were going to skip a bunch.
Don't always think about, there's that team, there's that team, there's that team, and they all kind of work together, but we only got this team on or whatever. Questions were pretty good this week. So we were able to basically take our 30. We usually do about 30 in the course of an hour. We were able to take our 30 from the top 40. So we didn't have to skip many at all. So we are just going to jump right into it. And the first question, which is the most upvoted question if you account for how many times it was asked throughout the thread, and then combine all those votes. The first question is simply 600i rework when?
Really?
Oh, it went to me. Oh.
It went. You can answer then.
So yeah, we've done the concepts. We've already shown some of that, I believe, last year. Sorry, it kind of blurs
was like
a little bit.
3 years ago.
It's no production work is currently happening on it.
No, man, thank you.
And it's not on our sort of like rolling 12 to 18 month schedule at the moment. I think everything that we showed in the concept still valid. I think exterior wise, pretty happy with where the ship is. It's mainly down to interior layout changes and making a better use of the space that it's got. It's got quite a lot of space, and it's got a fair amount of wasted space, and then also the kind of like the changes we want to do to make sure it's works much better with the kind of the different modules and the different layouts that we need.
Did he say a schedule of any kind?
He covered most of it. I think the only real things to add there is everything we showed with those concept images is pretty much accurate still. Big highlights being the Explorer gets a medical bed and the cargo bay of it gets large enough to hold a Nova tank. And why it constantly, or not constantly, why it never seems to happen is that really 600i owners have a functional ship. So when it comes to prioritizing what do we want to work on next,
tell them
redoing the 600i takes the place of something else that doesn't exist yet. So
yeah, tell them, John.
Still super excited to do it. I like a big update when it happens, but it's just finding the right time to do it.
I'm so sick of 600i owners.
Put a little bit of polish on some of the Origin ships.
We've not done an Origin ship for a while as well.
Yeah, it would be nice to kind of give it a little bit of love.
Yeah, I know. We go into I think it's our 6th or 7th 2026 schedule meeting next week. And next week, and I'm hopeful we're going to get an Origin ship in there.
On to the ninth edition of the schedule.
Yep. Just in case people think it happens willy-nilly. It goes through a lot of iteration. And yeah, for the people in the chat, I can't call you out because there's so many. When did we start answering when questions? We're gonna have a couple of these. And the when questions we're gonna be able to talk about are the ones that are like, it's not coming anytime in the next 6 to 12 months. I think it's
which is the 600i.
Important.
Get fucked.
It's not the information anybody wants to hear, but I think it's valuable to folks who want to manage. It's important for managing your expectations and stuff like this. We don't want to string you along or whatnot. If we know something's not going to come in the next 6 to 12 months and whatnot, some of these questions we're just going to.
That's always been my POV. Your ship works.
To me, it makes sense.
So many ships don't
it's the right
exist.
thing to do. So
like, why would you take away from it?
A couple more of those as we go through. Our next question, how many existing ships need upgrade/polish before engineering can be released? Now, this is a backdoor question trying to glean some insight into engineering, but
it's a legitimate question.
Ben answer about
I'm glad he asked it.
Part of that, since engineering is not technically a ship feature, a ship content feature.
Yeah, obviously, vehicle content has a big part to play in this. So there's sort of two-part answer here is what's needed from the vehicle side to release the feature.
Yes.
And what's needed to,
because we don't actually know
fully
for
functional
sure.
bells and whistles and everything. So what's needed to release the feature from a vehicle content side is all the ships support it right now. We have fallback methods for those ships that don't have physicalized components, say like all the single seaters.
Fallback methods.
You'll be able to access the gameplay in a way through your existing MFDs to sort of repair and manage components that are damaged. So it's sort of not as unfair to those ships that don't have that level of physical components as those that do. And that will come with some downsides. But again, it's not a vehicle content feature, so I don't want to go all the way to specifics.
I think it's a good decision.
But in terms of the full feature of running around the ship, changing fuses,
without all the bullshit art,
engineering screens, completely accessible components, we are pretty well through the list. I had a big chart that I was looking at the other day of where we are with it, and it's well over half the ships have that level of everything being physicalized, and the majority of the ones
well over half is not as much as I thought
so far are those single-seater ships that that gameplay is of a lesser importance. So every patch, people have noticed ships getting little updates here and there, or have not noticed. So we're chipping away at that list whilst working on all the other
I like
things.
this answer.
Yeah, and I think that's it. It's fortunately the engineering gameplay makes the biggest difference to the bigger ships, and it's the smaller ships that kind of give us more of the headaches, like not the single seaters, but like the ones with like the really small interiors. They're the ones that kind of gives a few more headaches.
Think about the headache you're going to have as a player.
Yeah, we're limited by the exterior of the ship and trying to cram in so much into the kind of interiors. But yeah, luckily the mediums.
I wish I could pause.
A little bit easier to kind of update.
We're watching live today.
Yeah, and the big headline here is that it's not a feature that's being held back by the work on the vehicle content team.
Think about
it's the
repairing.
The folks who are developing.
I'll lower Jared just a tiny bit because he's saying the same bullshit he always says. Think about having to repair a piece of a ship that's on top of your ship. The only way to do it's EVA, right? So the fact that single seaters you would do from an MFD is probably a better choice, and maybe should stick permanently if it's done well.
Digital Citizen Con, Actual Citizen Con, a couple ISCs. We've done like 5 videos on engineering at this point. So
I'm turning them up, Moria. They were low.
It'll go into tech preview testing when it's ready. It's the answer we're going to give there as far as when. Next question from the thread. How do you choose the color scheme for the Showdown paints each year?
That was for me.
This is probably also a backdoor question to the
Yeah, I'm guessing that's a me question.
It's a big spinny wheel of random colors, and we just go.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't trying to backdoor anything.
Giant and pink or purple again this year.
Well, we've got a meeting kind of next week to make the decision.
I'm curious.
On this. It's not necessarily a me, John decision. In more recent years, what we've been trying to do is kind of wrap the whole event into its sort of like quite a cohesive sort of
theme.
brand and tying it all together. So you'll notice that the colours that the halls were and all the branding in the halls was reflected by the ships. It works great on some. It doesn't necessarily work as well on others. I think we're this year, like I say, we've got a meeting to discuss next week about what we're going to choose. I think we will hopefully have learned a bit from some of the ones that maybe didn't work quite so well, and hopefully make something that everyone. Well, it's really subjective, isn't it? Some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it, no matter what we do. So, but hopefully it will be more successful as we move forward.
Is there something wrong with my mic?
Can it be more purple than it was last year, though?
I'm trying to. Last year was like purple and blue, and it had those really nice sort of like.
That was the year before.
Oh, was it? Oh God, has it been 2 years already?
Last year was Milka.
It sounds fine for me.
Oh,
wait, what?
No comment.
Milker? Is that a UK?
Milka, the European chocolate brand.
Oh, Milka.
What's the line? Other brands are available.
They're not the only brand available. Other chocolate.
And just in case any of Milka's lawyers are watching, that was not a binding statement from Cloud Imperium Games. It's just colloquialism. As of 2025, most starter ships are far from being Gold Pass. These ships are the ones which are used by new players to discover the game, and they are sometimes so outdated and featureless that it feels wrong. Any plans to prioritize legacy starters to Gold Pass them? I like a question.
Another good question.
Strong POV.
Yeah. Short answer, yes. In fact, this week we actually did the kickoff for gold standarding the Aurora series. So,
okay.
What do we mean by that? That means giving it all its physical components, updating the dashboard to current MFD standards, fire extinguishers, weapons locker. Just fixing all the stuff that's wrong with it that doesn't suit the game today versus when it was made. And it's going to be I think quite a nice update for those owners of which there are many millions.
Not marking 2.
Yeah,
no mark 2 on it.
An issue with the term gold standard because like gold standard's like an ever moving kind of line. So it's more about bringing the ships up to
current standard.
Current standard or 1.0 standard or whatever, however you want to kind of like stage it. It's it's bringing the ships up to the standard where they support all the current kind of gameplay and features that we know about kind of now. Who knows what's going to happen in the future and where we'll take things. So this is about kind of making them the best that we can make them today, effectively. And I think in terms of like starter ships, I don't think we can say that we're doing all starter ships first and then we're doing this and then we're doing that. It's generally kind of prioritized by ship popularity in kind of some sense. The more popular ships, the most popular ships with the worst issues is the ones we want to try and fix up kind of sooner. But then also kind of what makes sense from a gameplay.
It has to get bigger for all that stuff, right?
If we've got something, a feature coming out that we know is going to use a certain class of ships, and we've got some of those ships that are maybe lacking, then if we've got time in the schedule and everything aligns nicely, then hopefully we can kind of try and bring those up to standard as well where we can. It's quite a lot of kind of juggling of different things to kind of do the picking of exactly which ships are getting their pass when.
There was a question in the chat from Jenin Tonic. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this person's been in SCL chat for years and years. Hello. They ask, why was the Aurora removed as a starter package? Simply put, it's a two-factor thing. I can't remember when we did it. We did it a while back ago. One, I think the Aurora MR alone, there's like 490,000 of them across accounts in the PU. When you factor in all the Auroras, it's definitely our most populous ship, and it was still needing a gold standard pass. It needs all that work. The dashboard they mentioned, the damage mesh, the ground fuel ports, the radar, and all, it needed work and everything. We felt that there were other starters that were a better start.
Trying to push people to better ships.
So we removed it from the starter packages. You can still buy it. You can still buy it individually if you want it, whatever. But we felt it was more customer facing to push ships that were closer to the current standard, as Ben said.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair
the Aurora
fair choice.
Is back and up to the current standard or whatnot. We'll look at bringing it back.
Bring it back at the same price, and I won't have an issue with it. Bring it back at the same price.
Next, what happened to the 4th Zeus variant. It was briefly shown during CitizenCon 2953, and it was apparently called the Zeus Mark II ST. I don't remember that, but I was really busy at CitizenCon.
I do, because I don't remember. The fun story here is I put the wrong image in the PowerPoint slide for the presentation, and I noticed that on stage when I turned around and looked at the screen, and it had all 4 there. So yes, there is a 4th variant called the ST. And the reason it isn't really known about beyond there is it has a sort of game loop that isn't really fully fleshed out. So we decided not to launch it with the other 3.
Game loop not fully fleshed out.
And when that game loop is more fleshed out, we'll talk more about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things we try. We don't always succeed. Let's just be real honest here. We don't always
succeed.
What do we think
that would be?
We try
Scanning? Yeah,
not to
exploration
push
or
ships
something
that don't have the relevant requisite gameplay at the same time. And when people see a new ship that's added every month, and they say, "Why are they doing another fighter? Transport. Why are they doing that?" and whatever. There's a lot of factors that go into that.
Interesting.
Not the least of which is that fighters sell. Let's just be real. But it's also most of the time when people are like, "Why aren't you doing this ship?" or "Why aren't you putting another ship with this?" It's because we're waiting for the gameplay system
stealth transport
before we put more ships.
Stealth is in
out in that loop. Again, it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes a schedule is a schedule. But wherever we can, we do try.
I love the look of the
ships that don't have the requisite gameplay or all the requisite gameplay.
ST.
There will always be exceptions.
Salt transport. Yes, that's it.
How is ship modularity coming along?
It's not.
I mean, it's out there now with the Retaliator. Which is another one of those things along with the whole C that took a long time, and we talked about it for a long time in SCLs and ISCs.
He was like, how am I going to bullshit this one?
It's out there with the Retaliator now. So really the only thing that stops it spreading further onto other ships that we promised it with is just simply time and resources to go through other ships and do it. It's the same reason we haven't done the last 1 or 2 modules for the Retaliator. In terms of feature-wise, it's there. It's working as much as we need it to work for ships such as the Apollo, which I'll say now is coming out next month with all of its modules, so all 6 modules. So it has the left and right tier 1, 2, 3 modules, so you can mix and match between them all. There might be some ships that I can't think of in the back of my mind that have a feature inside their modules that doesn't work yet. But if that's the case, we're probably not working on those ships anyway. But yeah, modularity as a feature works.
It's technically 6 modules, but it's 2. It's the left and right with a tier 1 bed, a left and right with the tier 2 with 2 tier 2 beds, and a left and right with 3 tier 3 beds.
Yeah. So everyone's going with the tier 1 bed.
I still get confused by the tiers. It's the wrong way around in my head.
It is. We do
that.
Everything in
your
Star
Idris
Citizen is generally tier 1 is your starting, and then you go up. And tier 2 is more than tier 1, and tier 3 is more than tier 1. With the Apollo, because of whatever decision we made back in 2018 or when I think it matches actual first responder injury stuff. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Oh, I guess that makes sense then.
But it's inverse. So the Apollo is the only one that's inverse, where tier 1 med beds are the best of the med beds, and then tier 2 are the medium, and then tier 3 are the lesser ones. And that is confusing a lot of people. We're like John said, the September promotional ship, the flight ready ships.
So drone gameplay is right. Where did you get that from? Out of anything they just said,
our brand folks are onboarding and having to learn about this and stuff like this, and yes, it keeps being a continual point of.
They've only talked about the beds.
Confusion for everybody.
What is wrong with you?
But we're paying for the sins of 2018. Us.
And the sins of 2016 and the sins of 2014, please.
I saw the command module recently being added to the public roadmap. Anything you can tell us?
Yeah, tell us. Let's hear it. Ben?
Why does it always come to me first?
Because you're the last one that was talking.
Oh, okay. John, do you want to talk first?
Yeah. So command module on the roadmap, that's the technical features done by not the vehicle content team. To allow us to set up the command module, which you've seen on the side of the Caterpillar, and it's also on the Ironclad, that allows it to be a fully independent ship that can dock, detach, dock, and The complexity here that requires the feature development is it's not the same docking system as you see like Starfarer refueling or Merlin and Constellation series, because those are simply just two ships attaching to each other. The command module is that, plus the transfer of control authority between one ship to the other. So you need, when you're in the command module, it's to have its own set of IFCS parameters and more, but we'll just talk IFCS. So it can fly off and do its own thing. And then when it's attached to the base portion of the ship, it then needs to essentially absorb all the control links of all the items that are in that other section, take over control
the
of them,
wheels
take
are
over
turning
the
for
whole thing.
org mining and stuff. Salvage.
We are getting that feature-wise in a position where we can update the content to support it.
Sure, and I think, like I said it was recently added to the public roadmap, not in the release view.
It's
but
going to be so broken, yes.
View that is being developed by the technical feature team is doing it, and then when they're done, then it can be applied to ships like the Caterpillar and stuff. So I think I want to be real clear. When you see, I think it was scheduled to like end in December. That's not when like the Caterpillar is getting it in December. That's when the work internally is scheduled to be done, and then the vehicle content team can grab that work and say, thanks, and then start applying it.
It's like this roadmap is so stupid.
Like,
why is it even there?
It's not a hard requirement for some of our upcoming ships, but I think everyone will be pretty disappointed if we're not able to ship the Ironclad with its module, and obviously, like I say, it unlocks us to then be able to kind of work on the Caterpillar and everything else. So from our side, we're not in control of it, but we are pushing to try and get as much support as we can.
All right, so they're already putting us like the Ironclad may not come with it.
Design trend of emphasizing bespoke weaponry on your newest ships. I don't know if that trend is 2 in a row, but question's a question.
I agree. It's an unfortunate trend based on just the last 2 ships. It's not a sort of weird plan to just bespoke weapons going forward. I think if I think about everything that's coming for the rest of the year, the only other bespoke weapon that is on any ship for the rest of the year is the Perseus turret guns. Everything else uses generic ones.
Okay.
There's a bespoke weapon on one of the October things.
More bespoke stuff?
Sorry, continue.
So 2 more for the rest of the year.
Well, the year's almost over.
Those ships also have generic weapons. And it's a 2-part answer. One, Ben could probably talk about from the visual side, but from the design side, it allows us to have essentially some level of control over the actual raw like damage output of a ship. Because as players know, everyone min-maxes. If you have generic swappable weapons, you have to account for a full size range. So if we take the Meteor, for example, and we let those be generic size 5s, I think that would be a well and truly overpowered ship. But because they're bespoke ones, allowed us to have size 5 weapons that were very constrained and had sort of downsize to keep it in check. And the same with the Wolf.
Yeah, but now nobody is going to use those.
Generic size 4s would have made it sort of just a Talon, but smaller.
I think you're right. It's a compromise. It's a compromise between like design requirements and balancing and everything like that, and also between the visuals that we're trying to achieve. I think trying to fit generic size 4s on the Wolf would have limited what we could do with its visuals, and I know that's not important to everyone, but it does make up like a large part of what we try and do with the game. But like I say, it's a compromise.
Yeah, the visuals, like, come on,
with
bro.
Wolf, we were really keen to be able to kind of.
He's the visual guy though, so I understand that coming from him.
Body and give those really clean lines. I think it was a quite an important thing for Krueger. And with the Meteor, we kind of wanted to really tie those weapons into the kind of the ship itself and kind of show that it's like make it feel kind of really powerful and really unique. So we can like integrate them into it, much like what we did with the kind of the Ares ships. And just because they're not generic size 4, size 5s, or whatever that means, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's never going to be options for other weapons for those ships. It just means that they won't necessarily use all of the ships all of the kind of weapons that are generic on that size class. But it doesn't mean that you're only going to ever have one weapon for a particular.
And
jet.
with Jared's face there, I think we know what that means. Then okay.
Okay.
That we'll be able to swap those size 5s out for different size 5s, most likely lasers.
If only
we get it.
Giant ship convention.
Do I need to wink at the end of that statement?
Yeah. Okay. I get it. It's
the ships with multiple S2 shields
ridiculous,
seem to have some power issues compared with ships with a single larger shield, as they consume much more power, but they perform much worse. In the past, you said that 6 times S2 of the Redeemer should provide an advantage in regeneration compared to a single S3, but currently they're not working this way, as the S2 shields have much worse shield regeneration. Whew. John.
That is very true. So we are in this sort of in-between stage of the current system and engineering. And I talked with Torsten yesterday to make sure I say the right thing here. So hopefully I don't misconstrue it. But with the engineering update, there's going to be quite a large change in how shields and other components function. And essentially, if you have a ship that has more than 2 shields, you will only ever have 2 available at a time active. So that means that if one of them goes down, your third one will come online to take its place. If that one goes down, the fourth one comes online. It's about
redundancy.
Whatever. So in terms of power consumption, obviously that changes things drastically because you're only having to power 2, but you have this sort of larger backup pool of shield generators. So in terms of size 2 versus size 3, all the sizes will have changes done. Like every single item is rebalanced with engineering. All the values you see now are not going to be the same as they are when engineering drops.
Okay.
So you can't really accurately compare that 6 S2s now to say 1 size 3 coming in the future. But
could be interesting.
That difference will be a lot less with engineering update.
Just please don't make me swap all of size 2 to size 3s. It will break me.
Whose idea was it to make everything physicalized?
It was a really good idea.
Are there any plans for a medium to large class salvage ship?
Good question.
I love the way it always goes to Ben.
He's the last one talking.
So we want there to be like a full range of ships in a gameplay loop, like true dedicated starters, like professional starters, then small, medium, large, capital, whatever. And we saw this earlier in the year with the introduction of the Golem for the mining loop. So you've got that teeny tiny proper starter ship. And for salvage, we want to have that.
We know there's like an RSI salvager, right?
Features to fill them out, fill the range out.
Need an orange salvage ship.
An orange one?
He said we need an orange salvage ship.
Because I think salvage suits orange ships.
He's so quiet.
All right.
Was that a hint?
All right.
Or
I'm just going to ask this question, then I'm going to go get a drink. Backlog ships plan?
Yep. Obviously a very popular topic, rightly so. It's always, like we've talked about this over the years lots, it's always a balancing act. At the end of the day, the company and the project is funded in a particular manner, and traditionally new ships sell well. But that doesn't mean we can't not do the old ones. We have to do that.
Wow, but it's always he just came out and said it.
Fresh new content, updating the existing content so it suits the game as it is today. Like I said, we talked about with the Aurora, that isn't really suitable for the game today. So we need to fix things like that, and then we also need to finish and deliver.
I appreciate that,
ships.
Like a lot,
and that changes year to year, quarter to quarter, and that ratio.
It's something we put a lot of kind of discussion into, and
I can't hear Ben at all anymore. This is brutal. We're maxed.
We're planning on doing, and I think we kind of generally look at what we're working on in the 12, 18, 24 kind of month,
Ben, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you move your mic closer to your mouth?
Hey, sweet Jared, thank you.
Yep.
Is that better?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just kind of echoing what John said. We basically, we put a lot of thought into it. We're kind of generally planning like 12, 18 months and ahead. And, having a bit of a look at like where the backlog is, which, like I say, is something we do every time we're kind of talking about what ships next. If you take into account the sort of like the next kind of 18 months or so, after that we'll be left with maybe kind of like 2-ish a year that we haven't delivered. Maybe some years 3, maybe some years 1. But I think we're we're definitely trending on the right trend. There's a few manufacturers that have got like 1 or 2 vehicles left, and it'd be great to kind of get them kind of done off the backlog, and then we can really focus about kind of new and exciting stuff. I feel like we've made a decent effort, and we're kind of like we are getting towards the kind of like the end.
We don't feel like you've made a decent effort.
If you look at
but,
the existing backlog ships, and
we don't know what the effort takes.
We said this before, that we don't
matter
want
what we
to
think.
release ships without their gameplay, whether that's like feature wise or game loop wise. If you remove all the ones that, as of today, like if we could click our fingers and instantly magic a ship into existence, if we remove all the ones that don't have features in the game today or fully functioning game loops, that backlog list is quite small. I think you've got the G12s, which I know there's a question about coming, the Liberator, the whole series, Odyssey, and then the rest of them are ones that sort of really do need.
What about the other mining ship
to make their use be good in the game?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to jump in there and stuff. It's often,
you said the whole series
is we have to interpret what the request actually is. People want the ships. What they're really saying is they want the gameplay. They want the gameplay that is associated with that ship. And the people in this call, are not entirely in control of that destiny. As everybody knows from our statement at the beginning of this year, certainly not all. It's been kind of exaggerated, but a bunch of our
refining for Arastra
are on Squadron, closing that out.
There
are still many gameplay programmers, engineers on Star Citizen working on crafting and base building and engineering and the new inventory system we showed off on SCL a while ago, stuff like this. So, but there's never enough people to work on everything all at one time. There just isn't. So you guys can make those ships when the gameplay team gets around to making that gameplay and stuff like this. But when you take those ships out, somebody in chat mentioned the Endeavor. The Endeavor's let's just be real, we're gonna be waiting a while for the Endeavor. When you take those gameplay ships out that don't have the gameplay, the backlog is actually pretty reasonable and stuff. Even the Banu Merchantman requires NPCs and being able to set up your own shops with NPCs and stuff, and that's feature work and stuff. So it's always a balancing act. We answer some version of this question twice a year, every single year for at least the last half decade and whatever. The answer never
that's
really
got to
changes,
tell you something,
but there's
though.
always new people, so I want to make sure.
That's got to tell you something. That it's probably not okay to do it the way you're doing it. I don't know what you're supposed to do.
Manner as possible, but we have to balance that between gameplay services being available and, quite frankly, the needs to continue pushing the project into new directions at the same time. So it's not easy.
I don't think we need it to be pushed in a new direction. We need it to be pushed in the direction of what question. You were going to sell us, I guess. Number.
Railen cargo pod system, valid or needs rethinking?
Triangles versus squares? Who's it going to go to?
I'll
Don't triangles make squares?
I think it's... Can I say both? I think visually it's valid. Like, we really like where it is visually. And we have been doing a little bit of investigation on this kind of fairly recently, trying to work out what we want to do with it. I think what that has kind of led to is the cargo value is probably going to change a little bit, and I think we will need to do a little bit of concept work to get the kind of the visuals to a point where it still looks cool, but it is kind of it's practical, and it makes the ship kind of good to use, because the last thing I really want to do is push us too far down a particular route with the visuals that just mean that it's an absolute pain to play with. So I think we need to find that compromise, like we kind of keep mentioning. But they are valid because I like what they look like, but they need a little bit of tweaking to make work.
Yeah, they are going to use the existing SCU cargo system that we have in the game, so they're not going to have some
that was
weird
the important
bespoke
bit I should have said.
Xi'an cargo shape cargo.
Okay.
It's going to use the same SCU ones. It's going to take 32 SCU containers, but we have some ideas on how we're going to sort of wrap that up in the Gattac style language, and then the cargo capacity is going to go way up. I'm not going to give a number here. We'll give a number later on, but it's up.
What is it currently at?
Will next year have a manufacturer focus like the past year seems to have been RSI? And if so, any hints to which one it will be?
Way up, huh? Okay.
We don't. This is going to sound weird after what has clearly been a year of RSI heavy ships, but we don't really pick like a manufacturer theme for the year. We talked on stage 2 years ago and last year about
big
RSI being the
ships.
theme for like the capital ships and going through that lineup.
Yeah.
And a certain set of scenarios happened where we ended up doing some additional RSI ships, and that's been pretty useful in terms of building out kits and allowing them to sort of benefit from each other.
Mm-hmm.
But there isn't really like a next year's going to be X manufacturer and we're going to do 10 ships with that manufacturer plan. We try and do a spread.
From the chat, will we see more Krueger ships?
I would expect, yeah.
I definitely want to see more Krueger ships. So, it was
more fins.
Maybe more fins. I think
he saw the feedback
things like
clearly.
The Krueger ships, the Sula, stuff like that, stuff that is a little bit more blank canvassy when you kind of get to start with it. It is a very exciting challenge. I think if you take some of our existing manufacturers, you kind of know what you're getting. You know what you're getting with the Drake ship. Doesn't mean they're not fun, because it's great to explore their processes further, their manufacturing further. But I was kind of super happy with the Krueger and where we got to with it, and I will definitely be pushing to get more Krueger ships. Not that it's my decision, but I'll do what I can.
I had to take a picture of the dog for my wife.
Question from the chat: anything about the Carrack cargo pods? After we were talking about possible changes to the what was it, the Railen cargo pod
No
system.
shot.
Anything you can tell us about the Carrack cargo pods being detachable?
Yes.
No shot.
So there's a lot of talk about the Carrack ones. They were never designed to be fully openable whilst they're within the ship. If you look at the ship, like the belly of the ship comes down halfway down the pods. We did some work early this year, to improve the opening, but they're never supposed to fully open whilst in the ship. You're supposed to drop the whole pods out and then they open. If you look at the very original concept art, you'll see them like dropped on the planet side. That's where that ship's modularity comes from. And to do that requires quite an extensive rework of that belly area. So we're going to save that for when we have time to spread or time to spend more on the Carrack, because again,
so no point in even discussing it.
I'm fully aware of how annoying it can be. It's not supposed to be like your mainline cargo ship. It's a explorer ship or expedition ship that can take cargo. Yeah, aware of the problem. The solution is slightly more work than I think people tend to think.
Yeah, folks in chat are talking about how loading the Carrack is loading cargo for the Carrack is so painful. I just realized it's in the side of my screen here. You want to see what else is painful about the Carrack? Here's a piece of merchandise that never made it off the drawing board. This was a Carrack plushie we explored like years ago.
I wonder why it would sell.
Table. Yeah, it's
maybe because it kind of looks like it's
not good.
Yeah, I just got it. It either looks like a sword.
An attempt was made.
Or
that's what you get when you're here in my actual office and not my fake office we use for TV.
Maybe I'm
There was another.
I'm more
there was
innocent.
another really
I didn't notice
and-
the dick
and
right
question,
away.
I lost it. If you had a great chat and question in chat, ask it again.
Was it the CitizenCon one?
What was the CitizenCon one?
The sneak peek one. How many are we expecting to deliver?
Oh, no, that wasn't the question.
Okay.
Will external doors be made stronger so you can't just open them by punching the door?
Yeah, one of those great game dev quirks is that technically melee is doing physical damage, so over time it will do enough to open doors. Short, midterm, we're going to be bringing in, hopefully alongside engineering, like the concept of armor having minimum thresholds of damage, like damage numbers. So punching would just never exceed that threshold to allow you to open doors. Longer term, Maelstrom does this out the box. It's functional now in Squadron. Like your punch doesn't do enough kinetic energy for the system to even care about, so you'll never be able to break it like that. And as the interim, until that comes into the PU, engineering will hopefully bring the sort of lightweight version of that approximates the same outcome.
I found the question. Sandman 0888 asked. No, he didn't ask it. I lost it again. Wiseman 93 asked, "Will medical beacons return with the Apollo?" Boy, howdy! I sure hope so. I'm not going to sit here and say it absolutely will, because that's still roughly a month away. But we are making every single attempt to get those things back online. They were causing some really weird issues. Well, most people, you don't need me to explain to you what the issues were. It was just filling up the mission logs and making them unusable and stuff because of other changes that we made to Onyx facilities and stuff like that.
Dude.
So they were pulled down this month so that they could make some fixes. The things that have tormented medical players unfortunately won't be addressed when they come back. This is just about restoring their functionality that they had a month ago. But we will have more information about medical gameplay and the future of medical gameplay and stuff to go along with the Apollo when that launches, as John said, next month. But
okay, maybe the changes on that page are relevant then.
Being made to get medical beacons back for next.
Just to be
month,
clear, medical page says really you'll lose your stuff
to have them on the month you're trying
when
to
you die,
Apollo.
And tier 3 beds you cannot respawn in anymore.
But we don't always get to control our destiny that way. So people are trying. I'll say that much. Considering how many ships have been getting PDCs, including things like the 890 and the Reclaimer, will the Ironclad be getting some too? Very specific question.
Yeah, because you're working on the Ironclad.
Sorry, Iron Shadow owners, that you're not going to get them. They're really designed for military capital ships. I'm aware the 890 and the Reclaimer has got them. Those do not fit that bill, and the Constellation Phoenix. But that's because they were originally promised with them as part of their original design brief. So that's why they have them. But there's no plans to give them to the Ironclad.
Okay, so there's just
there is a new
mistakes.
vehicle with a new kind of PDC coming soon.
There is. Where there's a will, there's a way.
And also, I was just talking to the economy guys. We are adding the existing PDCs, the laser repeaters and the new missile ones we launched with the Idris K kit. Those are going to get added to the in-game shops probably sometime around November.
So you could swap them. Okay.
To make you people, to make those of you who have ships with PDCs have some more customization options. That stuff's coming.
Okay. Can we talk about why PDCs are in and out of ships and not defensive?
Which always locks the player into an, in my opinion, way too lengthy animation that we can neither cancel nor skip. Are there any plans for a refactor of this, like there are plans for ladders and vaulting, climbing, traversal?
Yes, some of them are definitely too long. Calling out the Talon, especially. That is too long. It needs shortening, but we can't just make. We could just make the animation shorter, but then all the audio and things are out of sync, and we want to make it all feel nice. And like part of the allure of Star Citizen is feeling like you're in that world. So when you start getting audio visual disconnects, it's not great. I saw this question. It also sort of hinted like, why don't we just use the ladder V2 tech for getting in and out of ships? That's never going to work. They're two very different systems. Ladder V2 is for like static environment ladders, whereas this ship enter exits are very bespoke animations to the
bespoke
ship geometry themselves, and also have a lot of events tied into like, when I start this animation, I want to start opening the canopy, deploying fins or panels or whatever. They need to be very controlled, but being able to break out of them is something I've wanted for quite a while. It's a priority thing, and it's on a
being able to break out of them would be great.
Not under my influence to bias, sadly.
And I think you're right. Technically you could speed up the animations, but I think it's about kind of making sure that things still feel kind of tangible. They still feel
just speed up the fucking sound then too.
Relatable. And we did a mocap shoot for not me personally, but there was a mocap shoot done for the Wolf Enter exit, and seeing the speed at which the mocap actor stuntman just absolutely threw himself at the kind of the mock-up that was built out for him to use.
It's pretty terrifying.
Yeah. I'd say it was pretty quick to be realistic. Him kind of sprinting full speed at a bunch of framework and throwing himself over it into a seat was.
Yeah, but we're speaking as like we're gaming, and we're under fire, and we need to get into our ship. So then the way that we get in that ship shouldn't exist.
John just reminded me. I just opened up
from the start.
Was just looking for another word for bespoke. So we need we collectively at CIG we have a problem. I'm guilty. I'm as guilty of it as anybody. Bespoke only has one synonym. Tailored. So we stick with bespoke.
Yeah.
BMM.
They already talked about
BMM.
it.
Now we're getting into the good questions. It's not in the 2026 schedule at the moment in terms of releasing. I do hope, though, fingers crossed, everything goes to plan, that we will start putting people back on it at the in the back half of 2026. We got quite far into White Box. We showed the progress at CitizenCon. It's not moved an inch from where we last showed it.
That was quite a tough thing to show, because we wanted to be honest about it and show where we were up to with it, but also appreciate, if we're still on stage going, look at the BMM, everyone's going to be like, yeah, it's coming, and it's like, I'm just trying to be honest. So I think, as John says, we're hoping to get artists and designers and the content team kind of back on it next year, but that it's not currently in the schedule for next year's release.
So don't even think about it then.
A lot. Things change, but that's a big one. It's going to take a lot to do, so the chances of it moving forward is pretty slim right now.
Yikes. That's tough.
Can dedicated racks be placed in cargo ships for a max lift tractor tool, so one is handy and in the cargo bay?
I don't see why not. It's a pretty valid use case. Some of the ships we have later in the year do have weapon racks near their cargo bays. I don't know off the top of my head whether the max lift
in the cargo bay.
So the way you decide what goes in each rack is a combination of size and tags. I don't know whether the max lift is classified as a weapon or a utility item. It might be that we need to just...
Pretty sure it's a utility item, yeah.
Yeah, we probably just need to re-tag the weapon racks to support both, assuming that they share the same metrics, which Ben, as weapon art director...
I cannot remember without looking, so yeah. Sorry.
I'm going to leave the camera on you for this one, Ben. How hard is it to create paints for the currently available ships?
How long we got? If I start waffling too much, tell me to shut up. It's really a mixed bag. I think if you got a black ship, you want to make it red, it's relatively straightforward. It's relatively straightforward for me. We have some material settings, we can change that, it's fine. Everything we do still needs to have, without getting too technical, new entity set up, it needs to be plugged into all the existing ship set up. It needs to be tested, needs to be named, needs to be go through market. Like there's a whole host of other departments that aren't just like color swatch red done. But making something kind of just change colors like fairly straightforward. The difficulty comes really when it comes down to if you've got a ship with a particular kind of paint breakup. So if you've got a ship that's by default it's silver and it's got a little bit of blue or whatever, and it looks great. That's cool, and you can put a bunch of different combinations on it. It looks great. The problem comes is a lot of time we're trying to theme like packs around particular kind of colors or ideas, and as soon as you start kind of trying to get tints to work across multiple ships that have been set up in different ways, it becomes quite you can make some really ugly ships really easily up on white.
Let us make
you've got to be a little bit more kind of careful with that sort of stuff.
The ship's ugly if we want.
One of the things that kind of limits us a little bit is our breakup is kind of baked into our ship models. So we don't have the ability to kind of just go, okay, actually I want to make all of these panels one color, this panel another color. It's like it has to work with everything.
The power these guys have
kind of add some complications
over the game is way too
the
strong.
Paints, they're a larger investment of time. All the graffiti stuff we did
way too strong.
Earlier this year or end of last year, I can't quite remember. That stuff is a bigger investment of time. The issue that
meanwhile
comes with
they make the ugliest paints ever all the time.
Add onto the ships to be able to support the kind of designs. With that additional geometry, you then have to go back in and reset up damage, reset up UVs, reset up vertex colors and wear, pump it all through the LODs. It gets quite complicated quite quickly, and on top of that, you then have to go through and re-update all the existing paints and tints that have already been done for those ships and anything that shares any variants. So if you take a Cutlass, for example, all of a sudden you're working across multiple different variants, all with loads. It just gets more and more kind of
in the end
hole you go down.
There should be a paint system that we choose what goes where, and if we like it or not.
To try and not waffle
and we pay for the color
on just this subject, we have recently been doing some R&D into like how we improve the system and how we want to make it easier for us. There's lots
the fact
of,
that they choose what looks really good and not us,
and things that we've talked to our kind of graphics team about, who luckily sit next door to me, so that's quite handy.
After we spend hundreds of dollars,
we're kind of getting buy-in from these other departments. And they want to kind of see us push it as well. It now comes down to breaking down the work, kind of getting that estimates in, getting into a schedule, working out the priorities on it. So I do hope that we can make better paints quicker in the future. At the moment, it's I wish it was just the easiest like color swatch pick go, but it's not. And I know there's a lot of games out there that do that. There's a lot of racing games that do that, and they allow you to do like full liveries across it. But the scale of our game, the texture resolution that we work to, you try put in a unique texture on a ship that's 250 meters long, you very quickly see the limitations of unique unwraps and unique texturing, which is something that just doesn't work for a game of our scale, and it's not a compromise that anyone's really.
So it's never happening
to make when it comes to putting them out. Like I'm not having low res, low quality artwork all over the side of our ships. Sorry.
No, good answer. Check your check Teams for a question while I ask John a question here.
Okay.
John, can you give us any more info about other Retaliator modules?
Obviously, we need to do the ones that we sold back in the day that were not delivered, which I think is the living quarters and dropship ones. Before we do any further ones, there are no concrete plans for additional ones. But if I get my way, I would do a medical bed one, just because I think that would be a pretty good utility to it. I know a lot of people have asked for an actual bomber module using bombs.
Yes.
I think I would.
That was me.
Personally. That was you.
I think that was everybody.
Call it the Retaliator bomber.
In that case, no.
Makes sense.
I would probably go the route of letting the existing torpedo racks be swapped to bomb racks as an option rather than a wholly new module. But we could go either way. It makes sense to do an actual dedicated bomb one, but we've got two paths.
On the hex code thing, somebody said they probably never heard of SVGs.
Right, so that question I was trying to ask slyly, we're almost out of time. I was asking if we could
I don't know.
get some extra time with our guys without putting them on the spot. They both graciously said yes. So we're gonna keep going because we have some more questions that I'd really like us to get to.
You got to think about performance in the game as well too, and maybe that has something to do with it.
No, I lost it. Any progress on the PTB rework and its backlog of paints, including the Best in Show one that was initially shown at least 2 years ago?
This is another great little fellowship task that we keep putting in the schedule, and then it gets removed because something runs long or something needs to come forwards. Yes, still planned. I think we did show a concept of it.
Yeah, I know we did concepts for it. I don't know if we've shown it
with the STV, maybe.
I don't think we did. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I feel like
I'm sure we've shown it somewhere.
When we did the STV and we showed the other one that we never made, the other
the UTV.
UTV, I think it was there.
We did. Yeah. We showed the whole family, like, so you could see the lines. Yeah, that is how it will end up. So it's basically the current PTV brought up to modern grid standards, space for components, and I think a pair of weapon racks on the back of it. So you could.
You know where a lot of time gets wasted,
and then it will have
on fucking vehicles that nobody uses.
The Best in Show one we promised.
Yeah, and I thought, as we normally do with you.
Nobody uses vehicles like in a real world for any reason.
I'm not ignoring your drone questions. There's a section at the drones just have nothing to do with the vehicle content team at all in any way, shape, or form. So we have a section at the end here where we're going to answer a couple of questions that don't have anything to do with this team. And one of those is about drones. So that's what I was asking about time for.
Okay.
Are we done with concept ships? Have we done a concept ship this year?
We haven't. Not done one this year. No, we're not going to do one this year. Unless something manic happens in the next few months, but yeah.
I was going to say, we got 4 months. We can't whip up a new concept that fast. So, no, this 2025 will end up. Yeah, 2025 will end up being our first year without a single concept ship.
Good.
Yeah,
it's only taken fucking 13 years.
Yeah, it's something we've talked about, I think, loosely on various shows that we ultimately want to move away from concept ships entirely and just go straight to here's the thing.
Just to be clear, we'll still be concepting ships. We just won't be showing them externally.
We won't be releasing them as concepts. We're trying really hard. We made a big
Sorry
effort.
to the concept artists watching this who are now on the floor.
Yes, they're still an absolutely essential part of the process. It's just that we made this initiative last year to really try to make everything flight ready. Just to move to flight ready. And we did. Last year, I think we only had 2 concept promotions last year, I think. It's taken us a while.
Yeah, Ironclad and...
Technically, the Starlancer attack variant was concept and stuff like this, but we're trying really hard. And this year, we've succeeded.
Ironclad, Arastra.
As I'm thinking about it right now, if you go all the way back to
Paladin and any other ones,
like original crowdfunding campaign, I'm talking about the original stretch goals. I think we're still on the hook for a Battlecruiser at some point, which will undoubtedly be the biggest ship in the game. Are we still going to do that?
Yeah, it's looking really, really cool with the progress we've made on it so far. So I think the Battlecruiser, on paper, it's
Battlecruiser?
A big old ship, and we are. I hope I'm allowed to say this. We're in very early stages of kind of our concept work on the Battlecruiser at the moment. Too late, Jared. Sorry.
We're going for it now.
We have to do it. I mean,
is it the one from the
It's not
squadron?
Coming this year. It's not coming anytime soon. Okay, so just don't want to get anybody's hopes up or anything.
It's a big ship. It needs a bunch of concept to get it right. Super happy with where it's going so far. I think
from stretch goals.
It allows us to take a lot of the things that we've learned on our existing kind of ships and our larger ships and kind of wrap them into a big powerhouse and deliver something that we're kind of like we're super excited about. Not just in terms of like firepower, but what we can deliver from a ship this size with everything that we know now. So
it's unlike any of our existing capital ships. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Why are they doing more capital ships?
Yeah. Just I backdoored into a subject here. Let's just be real clear. Trying really hard not to do concept ships anymore. 2025 looks like it's going to be again, it would be impossible to launch a new concept at this point. So our first year without concept sales, we don't want to do any more concept promotions ever again. We might have to do our last one for the Battlecruiser whenever that
Why are
comes
you selling the Idris
whatnot.
24
This
times
is
when
an
you said
exciting
you wanted
kinda
it to be rare?
big shift in our ships. We're flight ready or bust. Get the old ones that we need to deliver done, make new ones flight ready, and try to avoid concept promotions whenever possible. But realistically, if a Battlecruiser is as big as you're going to say it is, we'll probably have to do that one as a concept at some point.
Can I solo
we'll
the
let
Battlecruiser?
futurists worry about that whenever
Of course you
that
can.
day comes down the line. Not anytime soon. This is what you get, Ben, for details about the Battlecruiser. Are there any plans to add internal liveries to ships? You gonna let us paint our insides?
I was a bit scared. I'd love to. It's
They
again,
won't
it's
even
one
let
of
us
those
paint
things
the
that
outside. Get out of here.
it requires teams outside of my control to be able to kind of deliver this, and they all have big priorities lists that they need to work through. My expectation is it will come because
Okay.
when we're actually kind of developing our ships, we are setting them up using the same tint system that we use on the exterior of our ships.
Nothing
on
more.
The interior. It's just we have no way of making that kind of player facing.
I want to get rid of
of kind of being able to
the orange
swap that
from the inside of my
itself.
Argo.
As we make the work, though, we set them up in the same way where we have, we effectively assign different IDs to different areas of the ship, and they will take on. We set those materials to take on a tint, and then we tell it what that tint is. So it means that on like the back end for the last, I want to say like 18 months or so, we've been kind of making our ships like that, so that when that feature comes online, we've kind of we're already kind of trying to.
I always paint my Argo ships a different color,
not accrue
if I can.
Kind of tech debt and more rework that we need to do on ships. So I am all for it. I can't make it happen on my own.
People in the chat are asking you to show us your Pokeball collection.
Oh no, they're not Pokeball. Well, I'll show these, John.
Sure.
Too late.
Don't know what you're showing.
They are like patches. Yep. They're an internal thing we do for our team that ships.
Oh, that's so cool.
On a ship gets their patch.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
On the windowsill behind you, they're just lit up from the little bit of sun we get in this country. Yep. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's sick as hell.
That's by the way, that's a I've got to thank John for doing that. He's the one that takes care of and organises it all. So I get to show off John's good work.
That's actually super cool.
It reminds me I need to do last year's ones.
Yeah.
Because we're only up to 23.
What happened with the wolf not being gold standard? Is there a conspiracy here?
Yeah, I saw all the Reddit inspection posts about this. Like, it's some secret CIG conspiracy to stealth lower the standards of the vehicles. It's not. Ultimately, we wanted to release the Wolf in August, no matter what, and we just didn't have time to do everything we wanted to do for the Wolf to get it out the door in August. I saw plenty of comments saying, "Oh, it only takes 30 minutes to go model these hatches."
If there's any artists out there that can model, animate, UV, do the technical setup, LODs, get engine ready,
get them, Ben,
in 30 minutes. We have open hires. Please apply.
Job postings at cloudimperiumgames.com/jobs.
There's a lot of work beyond the actual physical modeling, and some of it has to be done sequentially as well, rather than working parallel. In that, if we're going to do the components, we can't do like the final damage mesh until it's all done. We can't do the final UVs. We can't do the final LODs. So that time we spend doing those components just delays everything later and later. So whilst it may be this amount of the whole schedule to do it, it shifts the whole date back. But they are in progress. I saw a video today of them all in engine, looking pretty cool. And they will be coming in a patch before the end of the year, along with some other Wolf-related things
that we possibly hinted at earlier in the show. I see the chat saying, so you want to have one ship a month. Some months are going to have two ships. Next month has the triage and the medevac. Months like May had 4 or 5
have
ships.
a lot more.
Yeah.
A lot more than.
Yeah.
November has a lot.
Yeah, it's not a prescriptive thing. If the wolf wasn't ready, if the wolf wasn't flyable, if it wasn't an enjoyable experience,
they're so disconnected from reality to understand the frustrations
like this, then no, we would not have released.
I'll lower them again. They're so disconnected that they don't realize that our patch is broken. I sent 50 fucking messages today to a bunch of different people saying this is broken, that's broken, this is broken, that's broken. I literally can't play the game the way I'd like to. None of the content from previous patches works because you needed to get the wolf out in August.
This year and last year and the one before that.
Because you need to get ASD out the door.
And that's not new either. Even in prior years,
that's the frustration.
A patch we did where there wasn't a vehicle released in it.
Yeah. It's mostly just, you're right. We changed to the monthly patches now, and so that becomes like that. But it's just we've tried to have something included in
out of the wazoo because of this shit.
For a while now. We just do more patches now. Where is the bloody G12? There's that question you hinted at.
Where it is. Where is it?
Where is it?
This is another one of those vehicles that goes on the schedule. It's a nice little clean cut. Here's X weeks of time. We've got a strong concept for it, and then something happens and it moves, and it's really annoying because
it's just a worthless
tick the box
vehicle.
Of all the Origin ships done, and I think that would be, I guess, with the exception of Krueger.
You hear that, 600i users? All the Origin ships done
lineup, where we've released them all.
I'm just looking at my wall trying to see if you're right, but I think. Like I say, I'd love to get it ticked off. I'd love to get them done. They're super cool. I like ground vehicles, but it's not on the current schedule just now. Yeah, sorry.
It actually was on the Twin Twix 6 schedule.
It was, yeah.
The first and the second, the third review. I think it got punted on the third review, unfortunately. Just so folks, get a sense of how many times we review this, and how many times it's revisited, and how many times it's
and you still get it fucking wrong every time.
A whole bunch of factors.
Still get it wrong every time, dude. Imagine having this many meetings for a fucking schedule.
Single-seater ships
and
with size 4 or even size 5 weapons. Don't you know that those are making not only makes it looking size 3 and smaller like toys for children. That's why I would read it. Sorry, but these sizes are meant to be armor piercing. So for shooting down bigger multi-crew ships, this is totally contradictory for a multi-crew experience. If the one-man army is able to kill the group ship all alone.
Bro, you solo Idrises, shut up.
Okay. I wasn't trying to be, I was having trouble just reading it.
Sorry. Yes, those bigger guns are designed to take on larger ships. Is putting them on smaller ships a problem? I don't think so. We have ships like the Ares that is a single-person ship with a very big gun designed to take on larger ships. We want there to be a wide range of gameplay styles, but what we don't want is we always refer to it internally as the Jesus ship, where it's the best ever, and every ship owner wants their ship to be their ship. They want it to be the best handling, the most damage output, the strongest health.
Oh, like the F7A Mark II?
But whacking a pair of great big guns on a ship doesn't make it instantly better than another ship, because we balance it alongside, not mentioning any ships in particular, we balance that alongside the handling and the armor brains failing. So yeah, the Meteor, which I'm guessing is probably the source of this question.
I remember. Yes, I remember for the week before it released, everybody was on fire because it was supposed to be the most OP ship in the world and was going to destroy everything. And then people got their hands on it and they're like, "Oh, I guess not."
Yeah. Like I say, it's balanced around what it has. It has those big guns. They're tuned in a way that makes them not particularly effective against light fighters and small, fast-moving stuff, but better against larger ones. It doesn't have the shield and health to take hits. Its handling is great in a straight line, but not angular. And we have all these different options for if you want to play a certain way. There's a ship for that, but there's not like A beats B, C beats A. in every single category.
And I think
I feel like the way it's made, people just won't use it. But yeah.
Hopefully, we're building a universe that has space for all sorts of different.
Did they lower Ben again? What's going on here?
Little single seaters with big weapons, or be it big haulers and cargo stuff with no weapons, and I think we're building a pretty wide-reaching game, or at least I hope we are. And I think as long as it doesn't break kind of like player immersion, as long as it doesn't kind of break the enjoyment, I think there's a massive amount of space for a variety of ships, and as long as they're all balanced, which, as John says, there's loads of different levers and strings that the clever people can kind of pull to make sure that the ships kind of work with each other, and we're not making something that's really overpowered. But purely from a visual kind of side of things, I think as long as it's believable, I think there's room for all sorts of fun stuff. At least I hope there is.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much closer you can move your mic, but you're getting quieter again.
Am I getting quiet again? Sorry.
Yeah.
Johnny, stop.
It's all right. He's alone in his office right now. He's just, people think that we're like professional TV personalities or whatever. People forget that most people here are just normal people. Well, not John. John's not normal.
And also, I've got like
not normal.
A crowd of people working right out front of me. I get embarrassed shouting at the top of my voice.
Shoutcasting episode.
Yeah. I did. I took my one swing at shoutcasting at the anniversary live stream that nobody talks about anymore. Never again.
I was there. No, it was the one after me.
That's the wrong camera.
I think he played with us.
Gaming Llama Spaz in the chat asks, will we get more Star Kitten paints?
What a dork. Get that fucking dork out of here.
I wanted to see what your answer was.
So,
It's not as simple as you think, people. It's not as simple as you think.
We will, because they're very popular. Would I like to see another Star Kitten paint, or would I like to see something that is equally as fun, that is slightly different? I'd probably take something equally as fun.
Ben is weebs out.
A lot of
Ben is a nammer.
Star Kitten. I think for me, it's why. Like, I don't want to put out a new ship that's just got a Star Kitten paint for the sake of putting out a Star Kitten paint. Now, if we have
Ben's a nammer, dude,
game or an experiencing game that is themed around that, then absolutely we do loads of ships around it. Or if we've got some story arc or some mission where the person at the end of it's a massive Star Kitten collector and you get one as a reward. I don't know. I'm winging it on the spot here.
It's actually a good idea, to be honest.
Yes,
for a story.
It's just I'm not really willing to just kind of like make one for the sake of making one. I'd rather it have an idea behind it and not just be like, oh yeah, it's going to do well, we'll just make one.
Phoenix in the chat says no one cares about paint questions. I hope you see the reaction in chat, Phoenix, and folks can show them.
If we think
shut the fuck up, Phoenix.
1 year,
don't.
Okay,
don't.
sorry.
No, it's this is one of those things. I'm going to go ahead and step on a landmine here for you here. A CIG is not a monolith. There are roughly 900 or so people here, and there are a lot of opinions. And some people love Star Kitten, and some people who won't be named. They're not in this call, but they don't like Star Kitten, and it's we have to come to a consensus sometimes when we do things like this and stuff like this. It's a forever fight. I've been
if they did content around Benny Hedge again,
Ben is the most
that would be cool. It would make sense
to it. He goes, it should be purposeful, and it should speak to the product and stuff like this, and that's why Ben is generally in charge of this, and I'm not. I would just be putting cute kawaii shit on all kinds of random stuff because I just think it's fun, and that's why I don't get to make decisions. But yeah, let us know. Go to Spectrum. Let us know how much you want Star Kitten. I don't care. I'm gonna step on it. Show people who don't believe with your voice that you want Star Kitten stuff.
And you know what's funny? You want to know what's funny? Is that thread will probably get more interaction than a one about the game actually fucking working.
Off to make a Star Kitten paint for every ship.
Yeah.
It'll get more action than the Flight Blade thread.
So at this point, we are done with the strictly vehicle content questions, and we have a collection 1, 2, 3, 4 questions that were highly voted in the chat that actually had nothing to do with vehicle content. These were ship-related gameplay feature questions, where other teams work on things. But I thought they were important enough that we talk about them and we address them. And so we researched some answers. We went to some folks, and
Sweet,
I'm going to ask them here. Ship-to-ship docking. Anything you can tell us?
So many problems. Let's hear about it.
Still planned. All the ships we build for it follow the metric we set out for it. It's still planned. The small round circular docking collars will extend to the bounding box of each ship, and then the two will join together so you can transfer.
Okay.
Nothing's changed there, but it's not on one of my teams.
And it's probably not on any schedule at all. So,
all right. Something I hope you can say some more about. Any update about rearm, repair, and refuel from a hangar inside a capital ship like the Polaris or Idris?
So this is one I can talk a bit more about. Like, this is on the feature team schedule to be delivered in the near future. I'm not going to give a date.
Okay.
And it's required as as part of some other planned content, where we're going to allow ships to land inside, select other ships, and then be able to refuel, rearm, repair on board those ships using the parent ship's resources inside their cargo grids. So if you've stocked up your ship with RMC and hydrogen fuel,
very cool.
The ship that's landed in will, at the
Polaris cargo bay below, refueling above. Use
the existing Mobi-Glass repair.
Very cool.
Rearm screen and go, I want to repair rearm.
Idris, it's all on the sides, and you watch it disappear.
I think.
Go ahead.
I love it. That'd be really cool.
I think it's not technically like blocking us from releasing any ships apart from, I think, the Crucible. If there's others, I can't remember them.
Yeah.
Right.
He moved his fucking mic again.
But I do think it will add a lot to. Oh, thank you. The like the kind of the bot crew experience that isn't just focused around. Well, I guess it is still sort of related to combat anyway. But I think it will it will still add a lot of kind of gameplay to some of our larger kind of multi-crew ships.
Now I do want to clear up some stuff, folks, for Kemi. Hey, Kemi, been a while, and folks who are saying Ironclad and Crucible and stuff. No, this is what John said, and I want to reiterate this here. Select hangars of existing ships. This isn't something for new ships, although it is something that will apply and make things like the Crucible and the Vulcan possible down the line. This is making it so, let's just take a ship with a big hangar as an example, like an Idris. If you have extra munitions, you have extra fuel, you have you have extra
I like this idea
or whatever sitting on your cargo grid, and somebody lands a ship on the same cargo grid, you can reload, rearm, refuel, and everything from that stock.
This is how medical gameplay could work as well.
Hangar. But there will be
respawning.
Like it's on the feature schedule right now, and it's necessary for some of the interesting content that we have scheduled for the next year. So
okay.
Know when, but it's on the schedule and being actively working on, and it's needed for some of the goals that the gameplay teams have. So it'll be a really cool thing for ships when it comes.
Yeah, that'll be fantastic. I got nothing bad to say about that.
Okay,
it sounds not overly
since we have revealed that the Apollo is coming next month. How are drones such as repair and medical coming along?
Yeah, living off grid might be possible.
It's the drones question.
So drones are being developed as part of base building. Obviously, the Apollo is coming next month. That means
base building is coming next month.
That's not what it means. Or someone in chat says that. Drones will not be releasing as part of the Apollo launch. We'll rip that band-aid off now. When we were developing the ship, obviously the Apollo, I want to say, was 2017 originally concepted.
17 or 18. I remember.
17 or 18. The idea of medical gameplay then is very different to the idea of medical gameplay now. And we have people working on updates to the medical gameplay system right now, beyond what we talked about, the medical beacon. And when we were looking at the ship, the drones was this sort of gray area. They said they would do one thing in the concept that sort of doesn't really apply in the game loop we have now for medical. They predated tractor beams and just the whole respawn mechanics we have now. So we have left space for the drone bay in the ship. We've not got rid of it. The space is there if we find a valid use case for them to exist when drones as a feature exist. But the Apollo will launch next month without drone gameplay.
Now, I do want to add that because the Apollo is launching next month without the drone gameplay, we are going to do something else. We mentioned those modular bays that the Apollo has. The left and right tier 1 bed, the left and right double tier 2 beds, the left and right 3 tier 3 beds. In the past, when we've added modules to ships like the Retaliator and whatnot, we have sold those modules individually. We are not going to do that with the Apollo. So I'm here to tell you now, we are going to include all 6 modules for free on every Apollo SKU. So if you already own the Apollo, you've got it already in your account, we are going to retroactively inject those into all of your existing items on the My Hangar app on your website. So if you have the Apollo now, you're going to get all 6. If you purchase the Apollo when it comes out in September or at any point
in the
from
game,
now on, it's not like a limited time.
What about in game? In game,
purchase the Apollo from any point from now on, it will come with all 6 bays. So that's just one of those things. We were just looking at it, and it's like for all the reasons John said, absolutely completely valid about not including the drones at this time. We still felt there was something more we could do to kind of ease that switch over. So this is what we're going to do.
Anybody who fucking complained about the flight blades, you just made a difference.
Forget anything? I'm asking you, John.
This is about the flight blades.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
You made the difference.
Like I said, that there's
here.
We're aware that there are some issues with medical gameplay at the moment, and beyond just the beacons being not there, we're wanting to try and fix some of those things and improve the whole, like not just fix things, add gameplay to the medical stuff, but hopefully we'll get that for September, if not soon after.
And there will be
some
more
changes. You're selling the ship for hundreds of dollars. Like, get out of here.
You'll learn more about that when that promotion stuff goes.
Absolute W. Thank you. That's good.
Last question. Any update about being able to relog and or log in on our friends' ships and beds for the crew?
Good question.
I believe there are some bugs with the current system. There's
bugs.
Probably the root of this question. But I'm not the team that is responsible for fixing them, so I don't have the answers to when for those.
I
do want to talk about how we want to deal with logging in and out.
Okay.
Going
let's hear it.
Forward in the future. We want, and I think Rich has talked about this before, we don't want to exclusively gate logging in and out of the game purely to ship beds. We want to allow you to do it anywhere, but there's consequences to that. It's just that beds will have bonuses. Like if you log out in your ship bed, it's better than just logging out on the floor or somewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
And that means you will start seeing some ships where you go, that ship would have been really cool, but why does it not have a bed? Probably utility, where we're sort of taking that design mindset going forwards. So yeah, expect to see some of these changes going forward in newer ships, like obviously exploration ships where you're supposed to be out long duration.
What does that mean better?
Have beds and everything. But
maybe your food and drink doesn't go down as quick.
Short-term ships may not have them anymore.
Stamina bonuses.
Just want to reiterate here.
Instant logouts.
This is an early.
There's options. I don't know what they are, though.
Too early to go into a whole lot of the details and stuff. But the idea here is to eventually move to a system where you can log in and out on your ship, whether you have a bed or not. And then
what about other people's ships?
What
that was the question, wasn't it?
Add to those ships that do have beds on top of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can't talk about now because we're still exploring what those might be.
I accept that answer. I don't hate it.
But for people like, oh, my ship doesn't have a bed, I can't log out. Well, that's where we're working towards minimizing the impact of that.
Yeah, you'll still be able to log out.
John, Ben,
I love that answer.
We went an extra 25 minutes. I think I asked you for 10. I went 25.
No problem from my side.
I'm a piece of crap.
We can carry on talking about tints.
Yeah, do you want to go just full deep dive on it? Give some examples live.
No, I literally figure out something because
that's probably all right.
We're yearning
guys,
for it.
Thank you so much for taking your time to be here. Obviously, we don't do as many shows as we used to. Part of that is the big change to a monthly
when there's
content.
a
Part of that
sale,
is the big change to we haven't released a whole lot of new features, which was mostly what ISC tended to talk about. Part of that was, as you saw in
when there's ships, there's a show. Of course,
ISC last week. We don't want to spoil the content anymore. We're at the point we're making some of the most exciting content we've ever produced for Star Citizen. We'd really like you to get in game and experience that stuff without having every single thing spoiled for you.
I think that's fair too.
We knew all that going into January, so the video content has changed a bit. But when we do get to have these times to sit here, I really appreciate you coming on the show and then taking the extra time to answer as many questions as possible.
This episode was,
and again, a shout out
1,000 times better than I thought it would be.
I think I did at the beginning that the questions this week were excellent in general. There were a lot of things that we wanted to talk about. So thank you so much for doing your part. That said, there will be no show next week or the week after.
When Ben?
We're in heavy swing for CitizenCon Direct production. So
2 weeks,
we're
no
here
Ben.
in my office on Zoom right now. We're filming all of the stories and stuff that you'll see on October 10th. Remember, that is a smaller, approximately 2-hour show. So it's going to be way more focused and
Ben
direct,
Dover. Okay.
For lack of a better word, I almost use the words bespoke than traditional Citizen Cons. So it'll be a different experience. But remember, there are also watch parties. There's a bunch all over the world, including 9 that we're specifically sending CIG staff in development to. I believe John and Ben are both going to one, but we won't say which one right now.
Nice, nice and friendly.
But yeah, so you can check that stuff out on the website if you want to attend those. But again, if you can find a local one, even though we're not attending, it'll be a really cool experience. And at 2 hours, it won't hurt your butt on a bar stool, we hope. John, Ben, thank you so much. I think we got a lot of good information this week.
Yeah, we did.
And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you next week. Or not next week.
George.
I just said I won't see you next week.
Never mind.
Let's look at the unfortunate Carrack again.
Let's not.
How inappropriate.
Let's not.
This is just. I didn't mean to show the tip. I was trying to avoid that because I didn't want to get that to get screenshotted.
Let's not.
Too late.
Once it's on the internet, Jared, it's always on
They're
the
still
internet.
going. I thought we were done. Sorry.
Just remember.
I thought we were just going to go.
Everybody. Good thing we're taking 2 weeks off. Jeez.
Good thing we're taking 2 weeks off. You take 2 weeks off every fucking 2 weeks. So anyway, that was a really good episode. I don't want to end on a negative because it was really good. And that's where we'll leave this one. So I don't have a lot of negative things to say. Got decent answer on drones, kind of. I think the Flight Blade drama actually caused a change, which is good. What else? What else was kind of big there? A little bit more information on the command module, which was pretty good. The Banu Merchantman, yeah, we kind of know where that stands now. They're going to put in the PDCs in. Oh, the Aurora rework is huge. Yeah, Apollo stuff was big. So, yeah, I don't know. Battlecruiser, yeah, the 600i guys getting what they deserve. They already have a ship that they backed, and obviously it does need a rework, but other ships need to be made. So, yeah, refuel, rearm on the Polaris and stuff like that. So, yeah, some pretty cool stuff there. That was probably my favorite, the refueling and rearming thing. That sounds exciting. So, cool. Good episode, actually.